really quickly. So there's a lady, I guess, going viral on TikTok because she decided to call about 30 churches and tell them that she needed some milk for her baby. And a few of them said yes, but a lot of them said no. And my thing is this: when I first heard about it, it was this other lady that was because it was going viral on TikTok first, and then it made its way to YouTube. And I don't really watch TikTok. I'm not on social media that much. YouTube, I just look at it like it's like a regular TV because I don't have a TV. I didn't buy one, so I just look at YouTube like it's a regular TV, and that's why I was able to see this topic because this now is a big topic. And here's my issue with this lady putting churches on blast. It's not to say that there are not bad churches out there, and I don't even go to church. Let me just say that. I'm not a Christian in the way that these people are a Christian. So this is not even about me defending the church because it's not even about that. Okay. I don't really care for what this lady did. I think this lady was negative. It was called a social experiment, and she called a lot of churches. She doesn't have a baby. I heard this pastor. I guess it's called Living Faith or whatever. I guess that's one big. I guess that's supposed to be a big church, and that was put on blast. Let me tell you, I've attended these big churches before, and they feed a lot of people. They have pantries. They have all kinds of stuff. They have drives. They have clothes drives, food drives. They have everything. So those kind of churches, regardless of what you want to say about the pastor, they are pretty much they do have a reputation of giving away a lot of stuff. And I don't know this church. I'm not defending this church. But see, I don't care for this. I don't care for, and I'm not a big fan of churches. I don't really care for the church. Uh, I've had like, out of all the trauma I've dealt with, and let me tell you something, I've dealt with a lot. But I believe it has come from people in the church. And I think because they have the facade that they are a child of the Most High. So see, when other people have done stuff against me, they never pretended to be perfect. Right, because I've had a lot more worse stuff done to me than whatever people have done in the church. I had a whole lot worse done. Okay. But these people never claim that they are perfect at all. They are who they are. They never ever claim to be a child of the Most High. They never claim to be saved. So even though they cause a lot of trauma, they didn't use God against me. What church people like to do is use God against you. And that's a different type of cut. Especially when you are somebody who is new and you get these people who just constantly using God against you and talking to you like, you're just wretched. Okay? Like you're never supposed to have a problem. And if you do have a problem, it's because you don't have faith. But the minute they have a problem, you're supposed to understand them, but you can never have a problem. I ran across that with a lot of church folk, and that's why I don't want to go back for that reason, but it's because I don't believe the way they believe. A lot of them are still anchored in the third dimension. They still talking about one day Jesus is going to come in. What they don't realize, Jesus is on the inside of them. The Christ is on the inside of them. It's not on the outside. They keep thinking about some date and time, and they looking outside as if they're going to see him with their natural eyes. And I just can't go because they too anchored in the third dimension. And I'm beyond the masculine aspect of all of this too, because I know about the great mother, but I don't want to get too far off. Okay. I don't want to get too far off. That's why I'm just saying I'm not by any stretch of the imagination defending the churches, because I really don't care for a lot of churches, but I don't like the deception of this woman. I don't like the deception. Okay, so I basically explained all that stuff before to just make it clear that I'm not defending the church. Okay, church have a lot of problems. You have a lot of corrupt people up in the church. You have a lot of fake people, a lot of sheep in wolves' clothing up in the church. Okay, but this lady, I don't really care for what she did. And then other people on TikTok getting all upset over her, over what she said, not upset at her, but getting really ticked off at the churches. Like, that's just wrong. That's just wrong. How could you just let a baby starve? First of all, some people have discernment. And maybe some people didn't help that lady because they already felt like she could have been playing a game. They probably felt like she wasn't telling the truth. And some people probably just didn't help because they didn't. But you got to understand, some folks do have discernment. And churches get taken advantage of so much. The ones who do really give, they have been taken advantage of so much. They got to be careful, especially when it comes to these mega churches. And I get that the pastor drive a nice car and they might have a private jet and all that stuff. But I'm telling you, churches get taken advantage of. People do it all the time. I was just listening to this lady, and she talked about how this couple joined a church, became a member, just so they can have the church pay their bill. See, people feel like the church is just supposed to carry them. I can see if you feel really, really, truly fell on hard times. And you are genuinely a person who give of yourself anytime you can. So the minute you fall on hard times, of course you deserve for somebody else to help you. But everybody's not, some people take advantage of others. And so you have to have discernment. You just can't give because somebody asked. You have to have discernment these days. You have to have it. And I was reading a comment, and I like this one comment. It was so simple. Some people left some different type of think pieces, a paragraph, but I like this one comment. Where is it? I'm sorry. That's okay. I lost it now. I can't find it. I can't find it. Anyway, a lot of people talking about discernment. A lot of people did not agree with what this lady did. I'm reading the comment section. A lot of people, did not agree with what she did. Now I wish I could find it, but that's okay. I'm taking too long, so that's all right. Somebody said, how many people did she help in her life? That's a good question. How many people has she helped in her life? That's why I said let the person who's without sin cast the first stone. I'm trying to see what authority does she have to call herself testing them. And when they say no to her, it's like she calls them out and they're the worst churches in the world. But like I said, some people have discernment. Some people just they don't know who this woman is. She just called a church. They don't know who she is. You don't know how many times a day these churches probably get these kind of calls. And they probably already are familiar with who's real and who's not. But that's okay. I can't find it. But that was a good comment that somebody said. And I can't find it no more. That's okay. It was a good one and I lost it. So that's all right. This one is a good one. Says, judge not, for you will be judged. That's a good one. People got to be careful these days. What made her want to call churches? Does she even go to church? I don't. Why is the church on her mind? Does she even go to church? I'm looking for that comment because I liked it and it was so simple, but that's okay. I like this comment. She said, I had a girl I had a girl who was a so friend a couple of years ago. She wanted to borrow $50 to buy some diapers and medicine and baby formula for her baby. My heart softened, so I said, I would take you to the store and get you what you need. I would pay with my credit card and you don't have to pay me back. She said, no, she should pay me back. But she wanted to get the items herself. And the lady said she didn't have cash on her. She said, I didn't have the money on me. She didn't have cash. She said, I would have to use my bank card at the debit machine. I explained that to her and mentioned we can get what she needed on my credit card. She was against that and got mad at me. I told her that I wasn't going to the bank. The grocery store was closer. And she said she stopped talking to me after that because she didn't get the money to do whatever else she wanted. Okay. So see, this is what I'm saying. People who have had good hearts in the past have been taken advantage of, including me. People who've had those big hearts in the past have been taken advantage of so many times that anytime somebody just come and ask you for something, you just can't give. And then that person wants to go and spread rumors on you as if you're the worst person in the world when you could have given to about 100 other people before she came. But discernment could have told some of these churches that this person is false. What gives her the right to call and test them? She is not their judge. So I like this comment. It says, she's not just testing the church. She tests God at the expense of hurting the church in ministry. Do not test the Lord. She is wrong for experimenting on the church. See, I like that one. I'll read that one again. Because it's not that it's not crooked people out there. But what gives her the right? What gives her the right to do some social experiment with a fake baby crying in the background? Why would you have a fake child? Let me tell you something. What kind of heart would you have to have? What kind of heart would you have to have? Because let me tell you something. These past few months, I've been my heart has been getting circumcised. I've had a circumcision of the heart these last few months. And so I look at things a lot differently. What kind of heart would you have to have a fake crying baby in the background? Because that's what this pastor said at some Living Faith Church, I think. What kind of person is that to have a fake baby in the background crying and say, I just need some formula? What is in you that caused you to do that? Because that is not from the Holy Spirit. That it's just not. It's not. And I already the minute I heard that, it didn't even feel right. And you know what, the first people that I heard report this was this Christian couple. Now, I'm not a Christian. Not the way they are, because they're patriarchal Christians. I'm not a patriarchal Christian. I'm more of a matriarchal, because I know the mother came first, and I don't care what anybody have to say. I know the mother came first, and I'm not backing down on that. It's just, unfortunately, it's not unfortunate. It's just what it is. We're on a spiral of patriarchy. It's a spiral, and we're going back up the spiral, back up to matriarchy. Right now, we're in the spiral where there's patriarchy, where there's the father, and the mother is forgotten. But I'm not going to keep the mother out just because people are not enlightened. Just because people are not enlightened does not mean I'm going to keep the mother out. Before there was a father, there was a mother. The father came from the mother. That's it. That's it. And that's why that when a church decided to talk about that, I will have my butt up in there. I don't care how many messed up people in there. When the church decided to talk about the mother coming first, I will be in there. When they decide to really talk about the Holy Spirit being feminine, when they decide to talk about Sophia, I will be in there. But right now, I'm not in there because they really are not telling the truth. Now, I still read the regular Holy Bible because I still feel like it feeds my spirit. But at the same time, I'm not ignorant to the truth either. I'm just not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Okay? But like I said, I like this comment. She is not just testing the church. She tests God at the expense of hurting the church and the ministry. Why would she do that? What gives her the right? What gives her the right to put people on blast like that? Put her life on blast. Somebody needs to dig into her life and put her life on blast. And the rest of this comment says, do not test the Lord. She is wrong for experimenting on the church. Okay? Like I say, some people have a strong spirit of discernment and they knew this lady was lying. Why would they go along with playing her game knowing that she's lying? Some people probably didn't know that she was playing a game. Why would they go along with this lady knowing that she was lying? If they are real people of God, why would you go along with somebody playing a dirty game like that? Because this rubbed me the wrong way, what she did. And I was looking at this Christian couple that was going off on this Living Faith church or whatever after they heard what she did, and she went around and tested all those churches. And because they didn't give her no milk, this Christian couple, well, I heard the lady talking. Well, no, both of them were talking. Just going off on the church. Like like you have to understand, you have to see something wrong with what that lady did. Like, because this is a Christian couple with a decent sized channel. They have over 100,000 subscribers. And even though anybody have flaws, I can see they're not perfect, but I thought they would, I really thought they were kind of the real deal. And I feel like they still are, but I see that there's a lot missing. Because why didn't you see, and I'm not going to judge nobody. This is just a question, but not a question that like I'm judging somebody. Why didn't this couple see immediately that that was a problem, that she would lie to all these churches and say that her baby needs milk? Why would you tell that kind of lie on a child that you don't have? Because when you have one in the future, if you do have one, now you're going to have some real problems. You're going to bring that right back on yourself. Why didn't this Christian couple with this popular channel on YouTube, I'm trying to understand why they did not see anything wrong with what this lady did. See, the secular people will agree with this lady. A lot of people who agree with her, for the most part, they're carnal, right? And carnal is basically like you just using your five senses. You just using your senses. You're not thinking beyond the physical. You're not going beyond the physical. Because that didn't sit right with my spirit at all. I don't care if it's a bunch of everybody. We already know it's a bunch of crooked people out there, and it's a bunch of low down churches with people in the church. Because the building itself is not low down, but the church should be inside the people and not inside of a building. You can turn a church building into a club. You can turn a church building into a house. It's not about a building; it's the churches inside the people. But what she did didn't sit right with my spirit. But if I would have heard this exact same thing a year ago, I probably would have went along with her because I had more of a carnal mind. So a year ago, I probably would have went along with her and agreed because my mind was more carnal than it is right now. But because my mind is carnal, I find a lot of stuff wrong with what this lady did. And I really think it was low down what she did. Even though it appears to be something good, and she want to call out the churches. But the deception in that, to have a crying baby, I mean, I would at least like for her to say that she's down on her luck, but don't lie about a child and you have a fake crying baby in the background. That is some evil, wicked stuff. And I don't understand why it's not too many people who saw a problem with that. But anyway, I just feel like talking about that really quickly, and I will talk to you later.